Interesting view from the former head of service of the Federation. We will be watching closely, though, on how the new ministers live up to the change mantra of the ruling APC. If they slip 1 inch, we will blow the whistle. Let's shift our focus now to other issues. The fight against insurgents received a major boost with the establishment of an African Union standby force to help the continent, especially countries in crisis, to resolve them, and those with issues of terrorism to nip them in the bud. Nigeria is looking forward to benefit from this new arrangement, in addition to the multinational joint task force already in existence. In my interview with General Samson Odunsi, retired, he told me how this will work in favor of Nigeria and indeed other pressing security concerns. Listen to this. Let's begin by talking about the efforts of the Nigerian Army to stamp out insurgency, especially in Nigeria's northeast region. Time is ticking, of course, and the December deadline is just looking at us very closely. Do you believe that it is attainable at this time for the Nigerian military forces to stamp out Boko Haram?
I think yes, it's possible. You see, when they say when there is a way, there is a will, there is a way. The president has said a deadline of December. And you remember when he gave that directives, say, go and clear, we must clear the insurgents away off Nigerian land by December. That was an order by Commander-in-Chief to the Chief of Defense Staff. And what did he say? He said, yes, sir, that's an order. And of course, he has no choice. He will go and execute the order of the commander, because we're used to that. He can't come back and say no. If he has to say that this task is unachievable, then he'll be saying that from his village.
We also have a situation where the African Union Standby Force has been constituted, made up of about a 25,000 strongman team, to, of course, try to protect Africa from issues of conflict, issues of insurgency, and so on. How is the African Union Standby Force going to impact on the war against terror in Nigeria?
Yes, well, if we say it's an African Union force to actually fight issues of insecurity in Africa, by the nature of I don't know the content of their modus operandi, it means they could be deployed in any part of Africa, any country. Today it is Nigeria, and of course, initially we were fighting this battle alone. Now we brought in the multinational task force, brought in Niger, we brought in Cameroon, we brought in Chad. So it's not unlikely they will bring in to complement the efforts of all this.
Let's talk about the involvement of the Nigerian military during the elections, starting from the Ekiti elections, then to the Osun elections, and then the general elections. What's your assessment of the role of the military during this time? Should the military have been deployed?
The orders they take right from the onset, right from the time they joined the army, is that they're going to defend Nigeria. They're going to defend Nigeria within and outside. And so they should, when it is inside, within, they are just to complement the efforts of the police and other security agencies. And of course, they must have been invited, they come in. So it means when they come in, that's the last effort, because after that, they won't go to any other place except for the army. So if the military or some people got involved in such thing, we are reading the papers, the way they did, it was shameful. And of course, it's an offense. So if the investigation finds anyone culpable, should be punished, because the laws are there.
What do you suppose will be the outcome of the panel being set by the government to look into the activities of its men and officers during the times of these elections?
There have been instances of people give wrong orders. I mean, illegal orders, and others officers have totally resisted. So if someone gives such an order and you feel this wrong contrary to the oath you have taken, I'm talking about the oath you have taken, the oath of allegiance to Nigeria, at the best you can say no and drop your khaki and say you are going.
Do you support the deployment of the military during the times of elections?
It's always been there, but not in the way it was done. You know, during elections, like during other national activities, during population census, during crisis, disasters, and so on, every unit has a small outfit they keep for emergency. So it's always been there, even during elections. There will be a force standing by. Peradventure, there are crises coming up. So that they are on standby. We call them IS units. Standby. So if there is need for that, and like I said earlier on, they got to be invited. Okay, this is beyond the ordinary local government leaders, is beyond the police and the DSS and other security forces, and of course they needed the army. And it's not something that is just between the commissioner of police and the others will come from above. And because when the situation starts brewing, everybody up to the presidency will be following. As we're setting up a committee, a group, that a security group at local government, at state level, at national level, they're following. So if there's need for intervention to save lives and property, then the others will come as you feed them of the developments upward, so also the others will come from up down to the grassroots.
Kogi State, Bayelsa State, and then possibly we're also having River State much later, and Akwa Ibom State going into elections. What would be your advice to the new INEC boss, Mahmoud Yakubu, as against what the military should be doing?
You know, in politics, nobody will ever accept anything. If you lose, you believe somebody has not been fair. If you won, okay, good, this man is so it's a thankless job. So he is there now. This man has set a record. He has left, at least the way everybody now talks about our election, fair and free, and of course, it got to this level. I think that's a promotion. It should feel challenge. It should be a challenge to him, not to reverse this, not to do anything to the contrary. Rather, it should improve. If I were him, after the election, INEC sat together and everybody brought out the various problems, as collated them as they received from the field. The problem of car readers, you know, which had to be used, was not subject to too many exercises, trials. You know, you should find out to make sure car readers good enough. There are very few areas. The car reader to be used must perform, so that they won't recur to using emergency writing. Let's try test them, test all the car readers, and put many others on standby.
What will be your final words in respect to the role of the military during elections?
The last election, you know, everybody was sitting on the brink. Everybody was scared. There were a lot of fears, you know, a lot of agitation. Everybody was, and of course, the military had to be told to stand by. Okay, to stand by. But I think that is not their job. Okay. To get involved right down to the polling area is not their job. They should stand by. There are agencies of government. There is the civil defense, there is the DSS, there is the police, whose duty it is to. In fact, in our days, and I see very much like, if you are not on duty, you don't even go to the polling station in uniform.
General Samson Odunsi, I want to thank you so much indeed for your time and indeed your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Jimba, and thank you for the time you have allotted to me.
Interesting views from the retired general. And that wraps it up on State of the Nation. Do remember that every value added to help Nigeria grow is in your hands and mine. This is State of the Nation. Bye for now.